Liverpool have sacked their manager, as we know, Arne Slot. And while everyone is debating whether it was the right call, the man they want to replace him is already sending shockwaves through English football before he's even walked through the Anfield door. Andoni Iraola, the Basque coach who just guided Bournemouth to their best ever Premier League finish, sixth place European football, and an 18-game unbeaten run to end the season. Now, I spent time watching this Bournemouth side this season, going through the data, going through the footage, and I want to give you guys a proper breakdown of what Iraola actually does, how he plays, and most importantly, what Liverpool could look like under him next season. Because I genuinely believe if, and it's a very big if, he gets the right players, it could be special, but let's just get into it and you guys can judge for yourself. So before we get even into the tactics, let's try and understand who this man actually is. Because Iraola is not a well-known name to casual football fans, but within football, people at the highest level are absolutely clear on what he's about. Pep Guardiola, serial Premier League winner, was asked about the direction modern football is heading, and this is what he had to say. Today, modern football is the way that Bournemouth play, that Newcastle play, Brighton play. Liverpool have always been like that. Guys, that quote tells you everything. The best manager of his generation is pointing at Bournemouth as a blueprint for modern football, and Iraola built that. And here's what makes this appointment even more logical for Liverpool than most people realise. Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes, the man making this hire, was technical director at Bournemouth when they appointed Iraola back in 2023. He watched this manager up close for 2 full seasons. He knows exactly what he's getting. This, I feel, for Liverpool is not a panic move. It seems more like a planned one. And here's what Liverpool fans really need to know. Because Iraola's football is nothing like what you've been watching at Anfield this season. And for many of us, it's going to feel like a breath of fresh air. So I guess now it's time to talk about what Iraola actually does, because people, they love to throw around words like pressing and intensity and any other technical word out there on Twitter without really explaining what it looks like in actual practice. So in terms of the foundation, without the ball, Iraola's teams, they drop into a 4-4-2 defensive block. From there, they press in a man-to-man scheme, but with a crucial twist. If one player jumps to press, a teammate immediately picks up their old marker. Nobody leaves a gap. Nobody gets caught out of position. It's all coordinated chaos. Just a bit like Klopp. The striker's job is to cut the pitch in half and force the opposition to play down a specific side. Once they do that, Bournemouth spring the trap. They press aggressively against the touchline. Now the opposition has 2 choices. Play a risky ball into a duel with the centre-backs or try to play through the press and get picked off in midfield. And when they win the ball back, they go immediately. That is the philosophy. Win it high, play it forward immediately, attack the space before the opposition can reorganize, and this is where it gets really interesting for Liverpool fans. And I feel this is probably where the Klopp comparison starts to make sense, but we don't want to overuse it. Because what Iraola does is not the same as Klopp, but the DNA is similar. And for Liverpool fans who've been missing that kind of heavy metal football, especially since Klopp came in, this might be exactly what you've actually been waiting for. So let's address the elephant in the room, because everybody keeps saying it and it seems like we've got to talk about it. Is Iraola the new Klopp? And to me, the honest answer is no. But there are elements of what he does that will feel very familiar to Liverpool fans. Klopp's Liverpool was built on gegenpressing. Win the ball high, attack immediately, make Anfield an absolute fortress of noise and intensity. That style was intoxicating. It felt like Liverpool. Slot's Liverpool was the complete opposite. It was more patient, more controlled, more possession-oriented. And while it worked brilliantly in year 1, of course, winning the title, in year 2, that just exposed its limitations. Liverpool became passive, predictable, too easy to play against. The intensity was gone, and you could feel it at Anfield. Iraola, in my opinion, sits somewhere between the two, but closer to Klopp, of course, in terms of what it feels like to watch. He wants aggression, he wants intensity, he wants to make games uncomfortable. A manager so rooted in his identity that he refuses to compromise it. And when it clicks at Anfield, with those fans, with the atmosphere, trust me, it could be incredible. But there are differences to Klopp too. Iraola is a lot more direct. He doesn't build from the back the same way. He wants his centre-backs to launch long switches. He wants to bypass the midfield press and get the ball forward quickly. It's more vertical, more decisive, less about recycling possession and more about attacking the space. And obviously, this brings us to the most important question of all. What does this actually look like with Liverpool's players? How does he set them up? And crucially, what does he need to make this work? Okay, now to the fun part. Now, this part's always a bit difficult because, of course, I've got a script here that I do try and follow. And in the script, they really want me to go with a 4-2-3-1. Now, everybody knows me. If you've seen previous videos, you know that I want a 4-3-3 and a flat 3 in the middle of the park. I don't really want 2 8s. I want it to be a bit more fluid than that. But hopefully, we'll have to wait and see, what Iraola chooses to do. But, of course, we'll go with his system for the time being, just so that you guys can kind of see it on paper. So, of course, in goal, we're going to go with Alisson, unless he is allowed to leave the club this summer. I would be going with him in goal. His ability with 1v1 situations, especially if Liverpool are going to be playing a somewhat high line, it's going to be needed next season. The 2 fullback positions, I'm going to go with Milos Kerkez on the left-hand side, someone who has worked with Iraola before. And on the right-hand side, I'm actually going to go with, for the time being, unless Liverpool go out and sign a right back, I would go with Dominic Szoboszlai. I think he's actually Liverpool's best right back, better than Frimpong, better than Bradley. I think what he offers you in that right back position would really help Liverpool, especially with central progression and being able to play those balls over the top of the opposition defence. But of course, if Liverpool do sign a fullback, then I probably would go with someone like Coyote from Brentford. Again, someone with the intensity runs, someone with good recovery runs, good 1v1 situations, and someone who has that ability from long throws that could be an absolute weapon for Liverpool next season. At centre-backs, I'm going to go Virgil van Dijk, of course, and with Konate leaving, there is a space. Now, will Liverpool go in the market? I've heard talks about Zibini. At the moment, I'm not seeing any concrete links, so I'm going to go with Jeremy Jacquet, the player that Liverpool did sign in January. I think he's someone who can learn quite a lot from someone like Virgil van Dijk. He's quick, he's aggressive, stepping out to defend, excellent in these 1v1 situations. Will it almost be like having another Konate there? We'll have to wait and see. Now, the midfield, as I said before, just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to set it up in a 4-2-3-1. So, in the middle of the park, if I had my way, I'd be looking at players like Lamine Camara and Adam Wharton. Liverpool are desperate for a midfielder who can play football and does look for those forward passes. I think at this current moment in time, they have got players like Curtis Jones, who I do think is a really, really good player who can press pretty well, so that he might actually stay at the club. Whether he will start, again, that's going to be a conversation between himself and Iraola. But I'm looking at someone like Adam Wharton, someone whose progressive play is absolutely brilliant, something I believe Liverpool do miss. And I think that will be a key component for next season, especially if you're trying to play in a system whereby you need to get the ball forward quickly. Lamine Camara, I feel like he does kind of speak for himself, someone who can get around the pitch pretty well, very comfortable in possession, and he can release the ball when needed. I would be looking at those two. And then, of course, in the number 10, probably at the moment, I'll go Florian Wirtz, but that is a position that I do look at, and hence the reason why I don't really want a number 10. But pressing from the front, that's something that Florian Wirtz is not alien to. When he joined Liverpool, that was one of the main actual characteristics of him, was that he is someone who can press from the front really, really well. So again, we'll have to wait and see on that one. On the wings, Liverpool, of course, looking at a Yan Diomande and Bradley Barcola. Will they get both? It's going to be pretty difficult. Those would be the two players that I would be signing at this current moment in time. There are other players out there, but they might be a little bit more difficult to sign. I mean, I do like Morgan Rogers over there at Aston Villa. He can play in the 10, he can play out wide. That is a player I think Liverpool should be going for, but Of course, we will have to wait and see. And then, of course, up front, it's going to be Alexander Isak. We do know that Ekitike is injured. Liverpool will need to have someone who can play in that position as backup to Alexander Isak, especially with his injury track record. So it's going to be an interesting area. It's going to be a really, really interesting area. But if I'm being honest, here's the honest truth. What the team needs, it's not quite ready yet. And listen, there are some decent players. There are some good players within this Liverpool squad, but I really don't want anybody to be under the illusion that this is a team that's ready to go and compete at this current moment in time. I still think they are lacking in a lot of areas. So let's see what Iraola can do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section in regards to the team itself. So what do Liverpool need? I think in the summer, especially during the World Cup, Liverpool definitely need to be looking at the midfield area. It's an area that has dogged them for a very long time, since Fabinho really lost his legs in that midfield alongside, Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, James Milner. Liverpool don't really have those kind of midfielders. Now, of course, the midfield of Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, they did win the Premier League, so hats off to them for that. But I think we can see that they're just not the level or the quality that Liverpool need as a starting midfield going forward. They are probably a good rotation option, if I'm being 100% honest. So definitely an area that Liverpool need to be able to upgrade upon. Now, on the wings as well, with Mohamed Salah leaving this summer, there is no right winger at the football club at the moment who is an out-and-out right winger. So that's definitely an area Liverpool will need to sort out. On the left-hand side, they have got Rio, they have got Cody Gakpo, but I'm going to say I think we all agree that we need to upgrade in that area as well. And of course, Ekitike was injured, so Liverpool have only got one striker. Do they get a winger who can just play all across the front three? Do they go out and sign a player on a short-term deal, potentially even a Lewandowski as an example, or Vlahovic, on a free? These are things that Liverpool do need to sort out. The fullback areas as well. I'm not 100% convinced that these are the areas that Liverpool should be negating throughout the summer. That is an area that I do believe that Liverpool do need to upgrade upon. What's going to happen in at centre-back with Konate leaving as well? It does seem like there is a lot to do for Liverpool this summer to get them back to the level of competing alongside the Arsenals, the Manchester Cities, and of course in the Champions League alongside the best team in the world, which is, PSG. But let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think in terms of the areas that Liverpool and Iraola needs to sort out ASAP? So, look, managing Liverpool is a completely different animal than managing Bournemouth. At a club of this size, I'm telling you now, every drop point becomes a story. Every tactical decision is examined by the likes of Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville on Sky Sports. There is less patience and far more expectation. But there is a little bit of confidence I can see in this appointment. Iraola is a manager who is completely rooted in his identity. He doesn't compromise. When Bournemouth tried to play a more passive style, even once, he ripped it up at halftime and went back to his principles. That kind of clarity is rare. And at Anfield, with the fans, with the atmosphere, when that press clicks and the stadium gets rocking again, Mo Salah, said it himself at the end of the season, Liverpool need to get back to that heavy metal football. And I feel like this is probably the better manager to do that. The ceiling with Iraola at Liverpool is relatively high. The players are there, or most of them are. The identity is clear. The philosophy is proven. Now Liverpool just need to back him in the transfer window and give him the time to build it. Do I think it works? I'm still undecided, but I think you've just got to be patient from the start, and I'm willing to be patient. He went 9 games without a win when he first arrived at Bournemouth before it clicked. And I'm telling you now, when it clicks at Anfield, it will click. But let me know in the comments how you guys feel about the appointment of Iraola. Do you think it's going to be a successful appointment? How much time are you willing to give him before you turn on him? Hopefully that doesn't happen. Let me know your thoughts about the new manager at Liverpool, Iraola.